For the past several days, one name seems to keep appearing in every headline: Selena Gomez. It's not about a new album release or a Hollywood feud. This time, the spotlight is on a tearful video she posted on social media. Within hours, her emotional footage spread like wildfire, capturing intense reactions from fans, critics, and even a few political figures. What started as a heartfelt message of concern took a fast turn into a polarizing debate on whether Selena's tears were genuine or simply performative. Seeing a celebrity cry online is not entirely new. In an age where many public figures try to appear relatable, some share their struggles and vulnerabilities on Instagram or TikTok. But Selena's video, in which she's seen visibly distressed and apologizing for not being able to do more, struck a nerve with millions. Many people rushed to empathize, especially given Selena's history of speaking out for marginalized communities. Others, however, were not so convinced. Almost instantly, newscasters began analyzing her words, social media influencers dissected her tone, and politicos jumped at the chance to respond. Some even demanded she be deported, despite the fact she was born in Texas. And here's the twist. Selena deleted the video shortly after posting it, which only stoked the fire. Critics blasted her for removing it, and fans scrambled to defend what they saw as a sincere moment of raw emotion. But is it as simple as a billionaire star letting her guard down? Or does the story reveal deeper issues about celebrity activism and the public's shifting expectations for how powerful figures should use their platforms? Let's dive deeper into this complex situation, uncover why Selena posted that emotional clip, and figure out how it spiraled into a larger conversation about wealth, empathy, and accountability. Before we move on, consider a question. When someone with immense resources expresses sorrow or compassion, do we judge them more harshly if they fail to follow it up with concrete action? That question sits at the heart of this drama, and it looms larger with every new twist. Selena Gomez is no stranger to the spotlight. She started as a child actor, soared into pop music stardom, and eventually became one of the most followed celebrities on social media. However, her recent social media post was not the typical promotional clip or casual update. Instead, it was a raw, tear-filled video in which she apologized for not doing more to help children caught in dire circumstances. Her voice quavered with heartbreak, and her face showed visible anguish. In the footage, Selena said she felt powerless, lamenting that she couldn't change things overnight. While she didn't specify which global crisis or tragedy weighed on her mind, viewers inferred it was related to immigration issues or humanitarian crises, areas she's publicly addressed in the past. Some fans praised her for showing vulnerability. They felt her tears spoke to a genuine concern for children who lack proper resources, comfort, or safety. Yet almost as soon as the clip appeared, doubts crept in. Some onlookers questioned whether this Instagram confessional was the best way to address such a massive problem. After all, Selena is famously wealthy. Some argue she's nearing billionaire status. Couldn't she donate a small fraction of her fortune to help families or children in need? Why record a tearful moment, post it to millions of followers, then delete it? Selena seemed aware of the risks. Celebrity authenticity can be a minefield. One might hope that sharing personal fears and heartache would resonate positively. But when you hold immense influence, every action is seen through a magnifying glass. Still, those close to her insist the tears were real, that she genuinely felt overwhelmed by global events and wanted to be transparent about her sorrow. But that was just the beginning. Soon after, online discussions took a dramatic turn, and people started labeling Selena's emotional post as performative activism. That critique only grew louder once she hit delete. Social media has a way of amplifying every controversy. And for Selena, the response to her tearful plea was swift and unforgiving in some corners of the internet. People flooded comment sections with jabs, stating that if she truly cared about the children she spoke of, she'd funnel more of her wealth into concrete solutions. Others posted scathing remarks, calling the video a publicity stunt. The debate took on a life of its own. A wave of critics insisted that with Selena's financial means, there's no excuse for not providing direct help. One widely shared post mocked her tears, suggesting that if she felt so upset, she could have quietly donated large sums to nonprofits on the ground instead of broadcasting her sadness to millions. The term billionaire meltdown began circulating as a hashtag among those who felt exasperated by celebrity theatrics. Then came an unexpected twist. Selena deleted the video entirely. Almost immediately, spectators latched onto the disappearance as proof that she realized her emotional display was misguided, or that she couldn't handle the negative press. In a brief follow-up statement on her Instagram story, Selena wrote, "Apparently it's not okay to show empathy anymore." This defiant note only fueled more discussion. Was it true that society punishes empathy from the ultra-wealthy, or did Selena misjudge the timing and tone of her post? Meanwhile, her loyal supporters rose to her defense. They pointed to her long record of charitable work and activism, insisting Selena had every right to express her emotions. Many argued that heartfelt messages can coexist with concrete actions, and that people shouldn't discount genuine emotion simply because someone is rich or famous. But what critics and fans didn't realize was that this social media storm was about to grow even bigger, as celebrities, political figures, and media outlets all lined up to weigh in. In the midst of all the finger-pointing, one fact stands out. Selena Gomez isn't new to discussing social issues. In 2019, she produced a documentary called Living Undocumented, highlighting the struggles of families facing deportation risks in the United States. She also wrote a personal essay for Time magazine, revealing that her own relatives faced challenges when coming to America. These moves weren't one-time gestures. They positioned Selena as someone consistently invested in immigration and humanitarian concerns. The documentary was a poignant exploration of real families caught in a web of legal uncertainty. In interviews promoting it, Selena spoke candidly about how the stories affected her, mentioning how she often felt powerless to help. She described watching hours of footage depicting families torn apart and admitted that it was emotionally draining. Some viewers considered this project a daring step. Rarely do A-list entertainers shine a light on issues that can be politically divisive. Beyond the documentary, Selena has also contributed to charity work and used her platform to raise awareness about various causes, including mental health, education, and lupus research, a disease she's personally battled. Her fans see this track record as irrefutable evidence that she's not simply chasing social clout. Rather, they argue, she's building upon years of advocating for the marginalized. Still, critics remain skeptical. They suggest that producing a documentary doesn't automatically absolve Selena of the responsibility to offer more material support or handle her public outreach with more tact. It's not that people doubt her passion, they say, but that her reaction feels incomplete or improperly channeled when she's primarily just posting about her tears. Yet Selena's own background might explain why she felt compelled to speak out. Born and raised in Texas, she understands how immigration debates play out on the ground, especially in a border state. But as it turns out, those personal ties also became a rallying point for opponents who wanted to discredit her. Shortly after Selena's tearful post went viral, a Senate candidate took to social media, calling her a third-generation descendant of Mexican illegals, and threatening to have her deported. It was a stunning statement, especially since Selena is, without question, a U.S. citizen by birth. The comment unleashed a new wave of heated discourse, with some outraged that a political figure would stoop to such rhetoric, and others questioning whether Selena's activism was overshadowing her American identity. Various media personalities jumped into the fray. Some known for their conservative views labeled Selena an out-of-touch celebrity, claiming she hides behind high walls in a gated community and has no clue how everyday working-class individuals actually live. They painted her tears as naive or insincere, a performance for social media rather than a meaningful gesture. In response, a number of high-profile commentators, journalists, and celebrities defended her. They pointed out that Selena has consistently spoken for immigrants, referencing her Living Undocumented documentary and her personal essays. They argued that the venom directed her way was an example of misdirected anger, aimed at a female star rather than addressing the root problems she highlighted. Still, the criticism kept mounting. One particularly vocal detractor, reportedly connected to actor Mel Gibson's inner circle, stated that Selena is just another ultra-rich star with no idea how real Americans live. The sentiment was that her emotional meltdown was misguided or self-serving. But fans pushed back, claiming that no matter how wealthy she may be, Selena is entitled to compassion, especially when discussing urgent issues that affect millions. And while all these viewpoints collided, people began to wonder, is empathy from a celebrity always seen as a call to action, or are we so jaded by influencer culture that we can't accept a sincere moment without demanding more? Much of Selena's passion stems from her upbringing. She was born in Texas to a father of Mexican descent and an Italian-American mother. In interviews, Selena has described how her father's heritage shaped her worldview. Even though her parents divorced when she was young, she embraced both sides of her cultural identity. This was visible in the documentary she produced, where she highlighted stories reminiscent of her own family background. Selena's father once spoke about how proud he is to see her stand up for immigration rights, acknowledging that some of their own relatives traveled to the U.S. under difficult conditions. For Selena, the journey isn't merely theoretical, it's embedded in her family's history. She often references her grandparents' or great-grandparents' struggles, explaining how their bravery and determination forged new opportunities for future generations. Her mother, on the other hand, is known for having parted ways with Selena's management and career decisions at times. That said, Selena credits her mom for inspiring her to stay resilient in the face of adversity. Despite any personal rifts, the star has repeatedly shown gratitude for both parents, insisting that their stories shaped the person she is today. Critics see it differently. They question how much Selena truly relates to the day-to-day hardships of immigrant families, given that she's been famous since her pre-teen years and now resides in luxurious neighborhoods. However, her supporters argue that heritage is not just about financial status. It's about a sense of belonging and empathy that can't be measured solely by one's bank account. And so we arrive at a delicate paradox. Selena's wealth and influence give her a massive platform, but they also make people wonder if she's capable of understanding genuine struggle. This disconnect is often the spark that ignites outrage whenever she displays emotion over social issues. If there's one thing Selena Gomez can't escape, it's the public fascination with every facet of her life. Even when she's not actively courting attention, paparazzi and tabloids chase her down. Fans scrutinize everything from her fashion choices to her friendships. And whenever she posts anything remotely personal, the internet dissects it like a detective searching for hidden clues. In the midst of this storm, references to Selena's past relationships, most famously with Justin Bieber, inevitably surface. Online forums filled with speculation link her emotional states to her romantic history, or to the rumored feuds she's had with others in the entertainment industry. This clutter of conversation can overshadow the core message she's trying to share. Her supporters find it frustrating that serious issues, like the well-being of undocumented families, get lost in gossip about whether Selena is still upset over an ex. In a world where gossip sells, it's challenging for any celebrity to keep the narrative focused on important topics. Selena's tearful video might have been an attempt to strip away the noise and speak directly from the heart. Unfortunately, that approach sometimes backfires when everyone is primed to scrutinize her every move. Yet this constant media spotlight also grants her influence. People do listen when Selena speaks. She has a reach that surpasses many politicians, activism groups, and nonprofit organizations combined. That power can be a double-edged sword. It gives her the ability to affect real change or amplify crucial discussions, but it also places a target on her back anytime she seems to falter. In the aftermath of her deleted post, we're left to wonder how Selena balances her massive following with her personal desire to show empathy. Perhaps the next development will shed more light on whether she's planning a larger initiative, or if she's had enough of the criticism for now. Even after Selena explained her side, social media discussions continued at full speed. Memes popped up mocking the video, supportive hashtags countered them, and major news outlets ran editorials discussing whether celebrity tears matter. As the news cycle churns, some wonder if this incident will simply fade away, much like Selena's now vanished video, or if it will remain a case study on how stars manage public expressions of empathy. On one hand, fans are hopeful that Selena will return with a clearer message, They predict she might announce new partnerships with advocacy groups or further highlight personal stories of families in crisis. On the other hand, cynics believe this fiasco may scare her away from public activism for a while. After all, if an attempt to show empathy results in such fierce backlash, why risk repeating that experience? There's also a conversation about mental health. Selena has openly discussed her challenges with anxiety and depression. Stepping into a polarizing political or humanitarian issue, and then facing a tidal wave of criticism, can weigh heavily on someone already coping with personal struggles. The constant scrutiny and hateful comments would be draining for anyone, much less someone who's been in the limelight since childhood. And so we arrive at the crux. A superstar tries to showcase her genuine concern and regret that she cannot fix massive problems overnight. The world responds with skepticism, demands for concrete proof, and, worse, threats to punish her for speaking out. It's a scenario that raises questions about how we treat public figures who use their platforms for more than entertainment. Selena Gomez's tearful video and the uproar that followed have exposed a tangled web of expectations we place on celebrities. We want them to be authentic, yet we criticize their vulnerability if it isn't backed by what we consider enough real-world action. We want them to care about important social issues, but if they aren't experts, or if they don't move mountains immediately, we ridicule them for performative activism. In Selena's case, her track record of producing a documentary about undocumented families, writing a compelling essay, and discussing her own familial history indicates that her concern runs deeper than a one-off Instagram story. Yet society's tolerance for emotional displays from high-profile figures seems to have shrunk. Some see her tears as an invitation to a bigger conversation on how the rich and famous should wield their power. Others see it as just another example of celebrities playing to the court of public opinion. Perhaps the real lesson here is that we're all navigating a world overwhelmed by information and tragedy. It's easy to look for scapegoats when we're frustrated by global issues, especially when those scapegoats are wealthy, influential stars. It's also true that individuals with Selena's reach have a unique capacity to inspire action, even if that's not always recognized or accepted by everyone. So where does that leave us? Maybe the next time we see a celebrity shedding tears, we'll ask ourselves, is it better to allow some empathy, even if it's imperfect, or to dismiss every emotional display as disingenuous simply because it comes from someone privileged? The answer might not be simple, but it's a question worth pondering. At the very least, Selena's emotional moment has sparked a conversation that goes far beyond her own social media page.